Shedeur Sanders made the most of his NFL debut last week, playing a majority of the snaps for the Browns. Sanders spent training camp working with the fourth-string squad as he competes in a crowded quarterback room. Fifth-round pick went 14 of 23 for 138, a couple of touchdown throws against the Panthers. Sanders got a lot of playing time in part due to key injuries to Kenny Pickett and fellow rookie Dillon Gabriel. Veteran Joe Flacco is the clubhouse leader to be the Week 1 starter for Cleveland. And here's head coach Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into reps, Mary Kay, other than to say we're going to continue to mix these guys, and also say I'm trying to be trying to be very intentional about our quarterback's development, and I'm really pleased with where both our young guys are, and I could say that about our entire rookie class. They're all working very hard. They're all taking coaching and understanding that this is a progression for them.
Stefanski taking that question from Mary Kay Cabot, a regular out there with the Browns. Pete Prisco taken to social media, saying just a reminder, preseason leaders from a couple of years ago, Jaron Hall, 4 TD passes, Tristan Jackson, 3D catches, Cody Thompson, 15 catches, on. And boy, Mac Jones and Zach Wilson, highest passer ratings in 115.
Come on, Pete. Come on, Pete. He's a Hall of Famer. Come on.
Pete Prisco and Danny Cannell. By the way, before we get to Shedeur, come on, Pete. What are we thinking?
I got to rain on everybody's parade. I mean, all I needed to see was just one half a play. I'm sold. He's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I've only been around this game for about 15 years in broadcasting. You've been around a lot longer than that. You're not sold off of one half of preseason?
I mean, he's playing against bouncers and bartenders. I mean, the bottom line is the preseason means nothing, okay? Let's be real. Let's get into that right off the bat. It means nothing. Absolutely zero. There's no looks on defense. It's not complicated. Having said that, he did some good things. I mean, I'm going to give him credit where credit is due. He made a couple nice throws. He also, that throw we showed where he hit the running back out of the backfield on the long throw, he bailed out of a clean pocket where he had no business leaving that. So there's good, there's bad, but it's the preseason. It doesn't matter. And here's the problem that I have with everybody propping him up after that one game. It would have been the same problem I had if they would have ripped him if he had not played well in that one game. There's a process. He went there as the fourth quarterback. He started out as the fourth quarterback. He's still the fourth quarterback. Isn't there a reason why he's still the fourth quarterback? So basically everybody out there saying he should push for the job or should be the starter or anything like that is discounting the fact that Kevin Stefanski's been one hell of a football coach in his career. They see what he can do on the practice field. They've seen it. They've seen what he can do in training camp. To just sit here and say one preseason game where he was pretty good kind of discounts everything else he's done is foolishness.
Now, Pete, you can't do that. You can't have a nuanced take. You have to go extreme one way or another. Like he's either a bust or he's a Hall of Famer. I love your take because I totally agree. Like, I think Shedeur, you know what I'm going to listen to? I'm going to listen to Shedeur, who said he had a C+ performance. Like, he thought he could have played a little bit better. I would tend to agree. But I actually thought he played a little bit better than a C+. The most important thing is that he took advantage of his opportunity. And that's what was driving me nuts last week, is people said he's set up to fail and he's going to go out there and he doesn't have these reps and it's going to be so hard. He doesn't have an offensive line. The NFL isn't fair. You have to make the most of your opportunity when it comes, and it came for Shedeur, and he took advantage of it. I love that for him, and I think he's going to continue to improve. The one thing I would say, Pete, and I think this is a huge credit to Shedeur and possibly a feather in his cap, is that the other guys who didn't play didn't get that opportunity. So I think he might have moved up in the depth chart over Kenny Pickett and over Dillon Gabriel because he was able to go out and do that. I'm not going to say he should be starting because I still think Joe Flacco is the guy for week 1. But I think showing what he did, and while Dillon Gabriel and Kenny Pickett are sitting there because they couldn't play, I think was a huge edge for him in this quarterback competition.
Because we've had instances before, coming to mind Russell Wilson, Matt Flynn, Derek Carr, Matt Sharpe, but it was like they were already sort of like QB2 moving up, and Shedeur has been now QB4, and he's got to kind of climb the ladder given injuries and all that stuff. So the Browns have the Eagles this week with some joint practices. They're going to face each other, of course, here in the preseason here. Landon Dickerson with that knee, Kenyon Green with the shoulder. Danny, concerns for the champs here in terms of some of the injuries in the preseason for you?
Yeah, they're starting to mount. I mean, Landon Dickerson is a 3-time Pro Bowler that you're talking about losing there up front in the middle of that offensive line. Kenyon Green, I'm not as concerned about that, but from a depth standpoint, that's when it starts becoming a little bit more concerning. If you look at what this team has built around, it's been around one of the best offensive lines in the league. And yes, it helps when you have a back like Saquon Barkley. And I do think positionally, guard is one that's probably easier to fill in for as opposed to if they lost one of their tackles who are studs in the outside. But it's definitely something you don't want to be going into the season with, losing one of those key cogs in the middle of that offensive line.
No, ideally you'd love to have him as a makeup. If he's there, they're the best offensive line in the NFL. But here's the thing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Jeff Stoutland is such a good offensive line coach. Last year, remember, they were concerned about losing Jason Kelce. They were concerned about the right guard position. It wasn't the problem. Cam Jurgens went in there and played great at center. Mekhi Becton, who's now with the Chargers, went in and played great at right guard. They like some of the guys. Matt Pryor is a good, solid backup who's had starts. Trevor Keegan's a young player from Michigan. They like him. I'm not worried about the Eagles' offensive line, in large part because Jeff Stoutland is one of the best offensive line coaches, if not the best, in the National Football League. They'll figure it out. They'll be just fine.
Dickerson, no timetable for his return is the very latest, but you guys don't seem to be too worried about the situation surrounding Philly. Curious to think if you're more worried about Matthew Stafford in L.A. 37-year-old Danny, you're our quarterback in epidurals, dealing with a back issue. I know he got that deal to stay there with the Rams, but he hadn't been out there so far with them.
Yeah, I'm starting to grow a little bit more concerned. As I have back problems. I think we probably all have back points problem at some point in your life, but we're not trying to be a franchise quarterback in the NFL and having to go to the lengths to take care of it to be ready to play. I'm not worried about it until we get to the regular season. If he starts missing practice time in week 1 before he even gets hit, then it's starting to grow a little bit more of a concern, especially at his age, what he's been through. But he's one of the toughest guys that's out there, and they're going to be ultra cautious with preseason playing time or practice time. They really don't need him to do much at all because he's so comfortable in the system. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. So I'm starting to get a little bit more concerned because it's starting to grow, and it's not just back pain. You're getting some more specifics, as you mentioned, Tommy. But overall, I'm probably like a 5, like right at the middle of a panic meter of 1 to 10.
Yeah, I'm with you, Danny. And by the way, Danny and myself have had many a conversation about bad backs because we both have had them. And it used to be back in the day, I'd sit there and say, oh, back injury, get out there and play. I'm not like that anymore, I can tell you that. But look, when you get to be 37 years old and the back starts becoming a problem and there's other things becoming a problem, and sometimes you know this, Danny, when you have a back problem, it kind of bleeds over. You start limping and gimping and something else might go wrong. So it is a concern, but it's not a 10 for a 10 in terms of concern like Danny, and probably a 5 right now. But as he continues to get through closer to this, if he has more problems with it, then it's going to inch up and maybe becomes a 7 and an 8. And if it's something that really is a problem, then it becomes a 10 and a 10, and the Rams have major problems.
Okay, back-to-back 10-win seasons to keep up with the theme for the Rams. And again, they took the champs to the limit. Philadelphia's toughest test in the postseason came from this Rams team. All right, both of you guys were down at Miami Dolphins camp at various stages so far this summer. Pete, I'm going to give you first word here. Jamal Williams, according to ESPN, getting a look from the Dolphins, and we saw sort of their short yardage struggles on display against Chicago over the weekend.
Yeah, it makes sense. You need a big back. But they might actually have their big back. Alexander Madison got, dinged up. He's out for the year. He has a neck injury. That's always sad to see when somebody goes down for the season. So now you only have 3 backs in camp. They need another one, at least to, get some carries during training camp. But Ollie Gordon looked really good carrying the football, and he is a bigger back. Miami has a toughness issue. We saw that on the opening drive. They went right down the field. They got in the red zone, and they couldn't run the football. And I sat there. I was watching it. I said, they are going to run it at a couple different times. Why? Because they're a new Miami Dolphin team. They want to try and show people they're not the same soft team that they always are. Well, what happened? They were the same soft team they always are. They couldn't run it in. So they need to get tougher. They need to get more physical. And Tyreek Hill might have been right. You got to get the big back the ball in that situation. I think Ollie Gordon now becomes much more of a factor in their short yardage situations.
Totally agree with you on all accounts. When, down there talking about how they're going to be more physical, and to have that unfold in the first preseason game when it could have been an opportunity to put it on some starters and say, hey, let's go set the tone for the season. Instead, you come up short, couldn't punch it in that spot. And I agree with you on Ollie Gordon. 2 years ago at Oklahoma State, he was one of the best running backs in the country. Last season kind of fell apart, didn't have great quarterback play. His stats kind of fell way off there significantly. It was a big reason why he fell in the draft. But he's got top-tier potential to potentially be somebody that could come in and add that physicality to that offense. The offensive line has to do a better job too. And I'm curious, a lot of times you'll bring in players to kind of light a spark under everybody. I don't know if Jamal Williams is going to be the savior at 30 years old, but you could have a bigger presence in there. But this might be something the Dolphins are trying to do to wake everybody up a little bit too.
Yeah, he's been a little sparingly in terms of playing time with the Saints most recently. And again, they had Tua under center for a 10-minute drive and then fell short there in Chicago. All right, Micah Parsons, reports out there. There hadn't been much report to go in terms of contract negotiations. Pete, as it continues to kind of linger here, what's your take on the Cowboys and the star pass rusher?
Boring. He's going to get done. The contract will get done. Everybody, the bad blood will go away. He'll be happy. The Cowboys will be happy. Jerry Jones will be the focal point. Look at what I did. I gave him a new deal. But for most of this preseason, what have we talked about? Micah Parsons and the Cowboys. Jerry Jones loves that. He loves it. This deal will get done, and all the bad blood will be cast aside. For all this talk about, well, he's going to, cut ties with the organization. How's he going to cut ties with the organization? He's under contract for this year. They can tag him the next two. He can't do anything. He's bound by the organization. He could sit out. Nobody's leaving that money on the table. So the deal will get done. It's boring. Every deal gets done. Every guy plays. It's one of those times of the year where the media jumps on something and they just go way overboard. Boring.
It's almost been trendy too, Pete, to demand a trade and ask for it and say you're going to cut off ties. We saw Myles Garrett do it. Jerry Jones is a shrewd businessman. That's why he's been able to, be one of the most wealthy owners in the NFL. He is not going to let one of his best players get anywhere close to a trade. He'll be back. I don't think there's any cause to panic. I'm going to take Jerry Jones at his word too, because you're trying to play hardball with somebody that's been played hardball, had hardball played against him for 30 years. I don't think he's concerned. I don't think Cowboys fans either should be either, but it is a little bit concerning for him if your favorite player, like you're hearing and reading all these news reports. Don't fall for it though.
And they've been through it before with CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott.